SNAP is the Survivors Network of Those Abused by Priests, an organization that helps to support adult survivors of childhood sexual abuse, and an advocacy group that works with governments to enact better legislation and laws to better protect children. Our mission is just that, to protect children from childhood sexual trauma while simultaneously offering those that have been sexually harmed support, comfort, and the ability to learn mechanisms to help them better cope with the lifelong stigma of being sexually assaulted as a child. We wrote a letter to Cardinal Parolin in March to address the issues within the Catholic hierarchy, Catholic Church, to better prevent childhood sexual assault. We wrote Vestesti's report in accordance with Pope Francis's guidelines, the system that he set up to investigate predators and those who covered up for predators. And we believe that there is enough information out there that Cardinal Prevost should be investigated for covering up child sex abuse.
In merito al presunto coinvolgimento di Prevost, nella vostra lettera denunciate 2 casi di abusi in Perù e negli Stati Uniti. Iniziamo da Chicago, dove Prevost era priore provinciale della provincia agostiniana Madre del Buon Consiglio. Cosa è accaduto?
There are cases being reported in Chicago and in Peru of priests, one in particular, Father Ray, that is known to be a sexual abuser of children. It was known by the Illinois diocese, it was known by the cardinals, and instead of removing, they cared for him, they protected him, they housed him, they fed him, and they did it very near to a church, or a school, without informing the school that they had a child sexual predator very near to the children that they are there to teach and protect. I don't want to overstep my bounds and speak out of turn. I can't specifically sit here and tell you the period, but I will follow up with you and get you the exact information. It's on our site. You can go to conclavewatch.org. You can look at the bishops that we have profiled. You can look at our letters. You can look at our Vestesti's reports, and you can see all of the information. They are all footnoted. We have our sources listed. We have verification on those sources. So you can go to conclavewatch.org, and it's a wealth of information on many of the cardinals in the conclave. Father Ray, like many, are protected by statutes of limitation, archaic statutes of limitation that don't give a child any time to even recognize what happened to them, to process what happened to them. By the time you are of adult age and you realize what you have to do and what happened to you, many survivors, like myself, were timed out of the statutes of limitation. And because of that, there is no recourse for people. The stigmatism that comes with child sexual assault, the assault happens in an act. The baggage and the trauma and the psychological damage lasts forever. And the archaic past statutes of limitation globally on this issue are not enough to protect children or victims.
In Perù, nella diocesi di Chiclayo, dove Prevost era vescovo, 3 donne minori all'epoca dei fatti hanno denunciato 2 preti per abusi, Eleuterio Vázquez González e Ricardo Yesken. Può raccontarci questa vicenda?
Well, they say believe survivors, and for a survivor of sexual assault to come out publicly, especially in a country like Peru, in the newspaper, exposing yourself, especially up against such a powerful institution as the Roman Catholic Church, is remarkable. And the fact that it is in the public sphere is a grave concern that survivors aren't being believed and they're not being helped by the Roman Catholic Church, which is the whole purpose of us coming to Rome, to enact the zero tolerance law so those sisters and any other sisters or brothers have some recourse over their lives. The church is very good at covering sexual assault. What we ask is that they don't cover up the thieves. They have laws against stealing their money in canon law. They don't have laws against raping children and covering it up in canon law. Case in point, Cardinal Beccio was not welcome into the conclave as a cardinal because he was indicted for embezzlement. The word indictment is the word that we're looking for. We would like to see the Roman Catholic Church protect children as much as they protect their wealth.
Qual è stato il ruolo di Prevost?
Prevost was the head of the dicastery. Prevost is the one who was in charge of all of these investigations. Prevost knows where all of the reports are. Prevost has all of the information on all abusive priests, clergy, nuns, lay people in Peru. Prevost is the one person in the hierarchy that can open the books and show the investigations of results of his investigation. Did he in fact investigate it? He should be willing to open up his records and show. To this point, I have not seen one report out of the church about Peru. This man, who is now Pope Leo XIV, the head of the Roman Catholic Church globally, has within his possession all the reports of all abusive clergy all over the globe. And he has the sole responsibility to the 1.4 billion Catholics around the world to expose what they have done. We're not asking for a lot. We're asking for children to be protected. A zero tolerance commitment from the Roman Catholic Church that they will not enable child sexual assault.
Sembra però che il cardinale Prevost abbia invitato le donne abusate a denunciare il caso alle autorità civili, ma che il reato poi sia caduto in prescrizione.
I think all cases should be investigated civilly. As Pope Leo XIV, he should open it up to independent investigation globally. If that's what he wants, if he wants an independent outside investigation, I'm all for an independent outside investigation. But he is also he was also the head of the dicastery. It was his sole responsibility as a Catholic, as a cardinal, to investigate his abusive priests, that these sisters came to him with the information. It is his responsibility. And now he has an even larger responsibility as Pope to not ignore this, not cover, not protect, not shift his priests. He should come out to the world. He says, he spoke of social justice. I heard social justice many times since in the 48 hours that he's been Pope. Where is the social justice for the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of survivors of clergy sexual abuse around the world? How can you proclaim that you are for social justice while you are harboring pedophiles? That's not social justice. Those are criminal acts. To harbor a known sexual assaulting priest is a crime against humanity. It's a crime against global dignity, and it's a crime against the world. This man is in charge of fixing it now.
Quali sono le prove a supporto della vostra denuncia?
I am from the state of Pennsylvania in the United States. The grand jury reports that shocked the world, right? The proof was in their own possession. When the state attorney general came to the diocese with the warrant to search the premises, they were sent to the basement, a dingy crawl space, to search the church's secret files, not something that the attorney general called it, something that the diocese called it, the secret files. There are secret files all over Rome. There are secret files all over the United States. There are secret files all over Peru. There are secret files all over the world. What we want is to not make them secret anymore, because every one of those secrets was a crime against children, against life, against innocence. They have it in their possession. Tell them to prove to us that it didn't happen. If they have proof, they would be willing to show it, correct? The proof that they have is that they harbor sexual criminals. That's the proof that the church possesses. The Roman Catholic Church in history are some of the best bookkeepers in the world. They write everything down and they tuck them away in a secret file in the basement.
Sa se ci sono state minacce nei confronti dell'avvocato di queste donne?
If there were threats, I'm not the person to speak to. But if there were threats, it wouldn't be the first time. The church has a long-reaching arm. They have plenty of money. They have plenty of help. They have plenty of secret societies throughout the world that are more than willing to go out of their way to protect the hierarchy from these crimes.
Avete poi ricevuto risposta alla vostra lettera? Perché il Vaticano sostiene che la condotta di Prevost sia stata impeccabile.
The letter that we wrote, we have yet to receive a response, which is troubling. You know, we watched Pope Leo come on the balcony. We watched and heard the applaud in the square. We've seen the reports. He spoke of social justice. We are known survivors of child sexual abuse. Me in particular, my case is proven. They know that I was sexually assaulted by my priest, Father George Kaharchik. It's proven. Social justice is social justice. Or they are just words spoken from a balcony into the ether, like his predecessor and his predecessor before. Words do not protect children from being raped. Thoughts and ideas do not protect children from being raped. Laws with strict punishments protect children from being raped. That is what social justice is. That's what it means. And that's what we're hoping Pope Leo XIV does in his responsibility to the 1.4 billion Catholics around the world. And I will add, not every child sexual assault victim is a victim of the Roman Catholic Church. But because of the Roman Catholic Church's reach, power, money, globally, to fight legislation that fights lawyers, that fights survivors, they're succeeding in protecting the world's sexual assault. People that were assaulted by their parents, people that were sexually raped by their uncles, their coaches, are all protected by the Roman Catholic Church's reach. That's very unsafe and completely against the teachings that I was taught in theology, in Catholic Mass, and the gospel. These men are protecting horrific crimes and damaging countless lives.
Cosa chiedete all'attuale pontefice?
It's a very simple request, something that any major company or any private group does globally. They enact a zero tolerance law that says if you are a priest, clergy, nun, lay person operating within the Roman Catholic Church and you are found to have committed childhood sexual rape or assault or covered up for a child rapist, you should immediately be removed from ministry. You should not be able to serve under the Catholic realm. You should be put out into the public sphere so that all parents of all children of Catholics around the world know to keep their children away from that man or woman. It's a safety issue. It's an easy request. It's a simple request. Who would possibly be against a zero tolerance law for raping children? And that's what it is. Like, I think the dust over it's called abuse and it's called a tragedy. It's rape. It's rape. It is grown men violating children before they even know what's happening to them. These aren't like little slap on the wrist crimes. This isn't somebody taking a piece of gum from the grocery store. These men are raping children, and the church knows who they know where they are, and they're not doing anything about it.
Ha mai incontrato Prevost quando era cardinale?
No, I've never met or contacted Cardinal Prevost. And quite frankly, I don't need to meet with Cardinal Prevost. If Cardinal Prevost wants to meet, we can talk, but he doesn't need to meet with me to write a law to protect children in his church. In fact, I would rather him not waste time meeting with me and get with his canon lawyers and implement the law. I don't need a photo op with the Pope. I need the Pope to protect children under his care from being raped.
Secondo alcune ricostruzioni, come quella del quotidiano El País, sembra che le accuse contro il cardinale Prevost facciano parte di una campagna orchestrata dai settori ultraconservatori della Chiesa per screditarlo. Cosa pensa di questa accusa?
I'm not a member of any church. I'm not a member. When I was 15, the sexual assault of mine ruined my faith. So whatever they have going on internally, whatever the conservative side and the liberal side, and it really doesn't matter to me. Both conservatives, middle of the road, and liberal people are all fundamentally against grown men raping children. So whatever fights, arguments, political power grabs that they've got going on, that's something for them to ask. You should ask that question of the hierarchy, the curia. You should ask them. They should be able to answer that question. What I am concerned with was all these groups, fighting factions, non-fighting factions, if you ask them individually, if you could pull each priest, each nun, each cardinal, each faction, the conservatives, the liberals, and sat them right here in front of the camera and say, are you opposed to protecting children against rape? Do you think any of them are going to say yes? No, right? Of course not. But that's what they do every day. And that's why they won't sit in front of these cameras like I do, and we do, because we actually want them to protect children from rape. They won't sit in front of the camera because they want to protect themselves against the punishment that comes with decades of protecting and harboring child rapists.
La tempistica della vostra denuncia sembra perfetta.
It was perfect timing. And the reason it's perfect timing is because victims of child sexual abuse by the clergy have been working on this for over 3 decades. The timing was right because we know when the timing is. We know when the press is going to be here. We know when there's going to be a new pope elected. We know the timing of it. And so with all of those years, decades of experience, we rallied behind that and we came to Rome. When it was Prevost, I was sick. I was sick in my stomach. Prevost is one of the first Vestostes reports we filed. Prevost, in my opinion, shouldn't even be a cardinal, let alone the Pope. Prevost, or Pope Leo XIV, he's a new person now. He was reinvented in the Catholic Church. He has a whole new name, he has a new rank, he has everything. Pope Leo, Pope, Leo XIV has a responsibility to the 1.4 billion Catholics globally to investigate Cardinal Prevost for his inaction at protecting children in his care in Chicago, Peru, Rome, wherever he is.